Welcome to today's episode. We're diving into a topic that every content creator really needs to take seriously, why you absolutely must use a copyright statement on your work. Chloe, it's surprising how many creators still think copyright is automatic and that they don't need to say anything. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a pretty common misconception, Liam. And honestly, it's where a lot of creators get into trouble. Sure, copyright technically exists the moment you create something original, but in the real world, enforcement is a whole different ballgame. Without a visible copyright statement, your work is vulnerable in ways many don't realize.
Right, so let's start by breaking down what a copyright statement actually does. Typically, it looks like this. Copyright 2026, your name or business name. All rights reserved. That short line does three critical things. First, it publicly declares ownership, telling everyone who owns the work.
Exactly. And second, it puts others on legal notice. No one can honestly claim they didn't know the work was protected. That's huge because ignorance isn't a defense in copyright law. And third, it defines limits on use. The phrase, all rights reserved, means no copying, reposting, editing, or selling without permission.
It's like putting a fence around your property. The copyright statement is a clear, visible boundary that says, "This is mine." Even though U.S. law grants copyright automatically, having that visible notice strengthens your legal position dramatically.
That's a great analogy. But here's the kicker. Automatic copyright is real, but it's practically weak without that visible notice. Without it, others might claim they thought your work was free to use. Platforms might treat disputes as unclear or shared ownership. Courts could limit damages. And your credibility as the original creator can be questioned.
So, copyright without notice is weak copyright when disputes arise. That's a key takeaway. But Chloe, can you explain a bit more about how courts treat cases differently when there's no visible copyright notice?
Sure. Without a copyright statement, courts often find it harder to award statutory damages, which are the financial penalties meant to punish willful infringement. They might reduce or even deny those damages because it's tougher to prove the infringer knew they were breaking the law. So the visible notice helps establish intentional misuse, which is crucial if you want meaningful legal remedies.
That makes sense. Now, what happens if you don't use a copyright statement? There are 5 major risks creators face.
The first is your work gets reused without credit. People repost your photos, use your graphics and ads, or copy articles word for word, and they'll often say, there was no copyright on it. Whether that's fair or not, it creates friction, delays, and lost leverage. It's like losing control over your own work.
And that can be frustrating, especially when you've put so much effort into creating something unique. What's the second risk?
The second risk is financial. You may lose money you're legally entitled to. If someone steals and monetizes your work, proving willful infringement is much harder without a copyright notice. Courts may reduce or deny statutory damages, and you might recover limited or no compensation. A visible copyright statement helps establish intentional misuse, which is crucial for legal remedies.
So it's not just about credit, it's about protecting your income too. What about platforms? How do they factor in?
That's the third risk. Social media, marketplaces, and hosting services often rely on visible proof when handling takedown requests. Without a copyright statement, your DMCA claim may be questioned, the infringer might counterclaim ownership, and content removal could be delayed or denied. This is especially damaging for journalists, activists, and small businesses who need timely exposure.
Right, because delays in removing infringing content can really hurt your reach and reputation. What's the fourth risk?
Fourth, others may register your work first. If someone copies your work and registers it before you do, you face an uphill legal battle proving original ownership. A visible copyright notice acts as a public, time-stamped ownership marker. It's not just symbolic, it's a practical legal tool.
That's a critical point. So the copyright statement isn't just about saying, "This is mine," it's also about creating a public record that can help in legal disputes.
Exactly. And finally, the fifth risk is your brand and authority are weakened. Professional creators protect their work visibly. Failing to include a copyright statement signals inexperience, encourages exploitation, and undermines trust in your brand. People are far less likely to misuse work that is clearly marked and professionally presented.
That's a strong list of reasons. Now, Chloe, what kinds of work should creators always copyright?
Basically, anything original you create: photographs, social media graphics, videos and reels, articles and blog posts, investigative journalism visuals, logos and branding materials, flyers, ads, promotional images, PDFs, reports, digital publications, you name it. If you created it, protect it.
Makes sense. And what about best practices? How should creators place their copyright statements to get the most protection?
First, place the copyright statement directly on images when possible. That way, it travels with the work. Also include it in captions, footers, or metadata. Use the current year to show the work is recent. Use your legal name or registered business name for clarity. And be consistent across all platforms.
Consistency is key. For example, copyright 2026, The Greensboro Chronicle, all rights reserved. That kind of uniformity builds a paper trail and credibility. Think of the copyright statement as a digital signature that travels with your work everywhere.
That's a great way to put it. It's a simple line of text, but it carries a lot of weight. It prevents theft, strengthens legal claims, preserves income, protects your reputation, and saves you from costly disputes later.
So, to wrap up, copyright notice is not optional for content creators. It's essential. If your work matters, protect it visibly.
Absolutely. It's one of the simplest, most effective ways to safeguard your creative efforts in the digital age. Don't leave your work vulnerable by assuming automatic copyright is enough.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode helps you think differently about copyright and encourages you to take that small but powerful step of adding a copyright statement to your work.
Until next time, keep creating and keep protecting what's yours.